Okay, Course of Miracles, Chapter 1. The meaning of miracles, the principle of miracles. Chapter 1, Verse 1, page 3. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not quote-unquote harder or quote-unquote bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. Verse 2. Miracles as such do not matter. The only thing that matters is their source, which is far beyond evaluation. 3. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so all miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. I'm just laughing because it's been my experience that my lack of belief that will actually occur has showed me why it doesn't. Because I'm arguing with it. I want it my way. That'll never work, man. Okay, so we'll get on here. Verse 5. Miracles are habits. And should be involuntary. They should not be under conscious control. Consciously selected miracles can be misguided. So what that says to me is that if I try to do a miracle, right, something's going to go wrong. I'm going to screw it up. I guarantee it. And now that I'm talking about that, I can see in my life, even up to this moment, how every time I've tried to make something happen, it didn't go so well. That's pretty much what drew me to this course. Yeah, that's been a long road to get to this. So, verse 6. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Ooh, I think I just said that. Okay, so 7. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. Well, that sounds like a religious idea, right? But I found that to be true, and anytime you've ever been trained at anything, you have to let go of your ideas of how to do things to get somebody that actually knows what they're doing and let them, transfer their ideas to you, right? That's learning. So that's pretty much what he's saying. Verse 8, miracles are healing because they supply a lack. They are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. And temporarily is a very key word in this sentence, because as we'll find as we go through the course, that the temporarily that he's pointing to is that we're supplying a lack. And what we'll find is that lack is a belief. But yeah, we'll keep reading. 9. Miracles are a kind of exchange. Like all expressions of love, which are always miraculous in the true sense, the exchange reverses the physical laws. How can reverse a physical law, right? They bring more love both to the giver and the receiver. So, have you ever seen evidence of that in your life? Because I have. I've noticed that when I hold the thought of love for anything, whether it be an object or a person, if I sit and hold that thought, whether it be a thought of hate or sadness or a thought of love, whatever I'm thinking about, that thought seems to grow more and more. And what I've noticed is that I will feel the more I hold the thought and the more I will say feed that thought with more thought, right? So if I'm thinking of love, oh, I love this person so much, oh my God, they're so beautiful, and I go on and on about how great that person is or how great that object is that I'm adoring, that feeling of that good feeling grows. That's pretty cool how that works, and it's a very crucial key to understanding what A Course in Miracles is teaching, and what we're going to get into throughout the course, how to use that to get what we really want, not what we think we want. There's a big difference. We'll get into that, of course, later. There's a lot of things I think I want. But I don't understand why I want them. Anyway, 10. The use of miracles as spectacles to induce belief is a misunderstanding of their purpose. So, what I hear this saying is that if I'm just showing off, hey, look at me, I can do a miracle, that's just, that's a misuse. That's not what a miracle is for. It's not what its intended use, and that's not what we're to be doing. So 11, prayer is the medium of miracles. It is a means of communication of the created with the Creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. So through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. Yeah, I don't really have any comments on that one, because it's like, the only comment I have is, I wonder exactly what they mean there. So that's, even though I've studied this course for a while, that one, through love, through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. So I guess it answers it in the next verse here, which is usually the case with the Course in Miracles. Is awesome. Miracles are thoughts. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience. Ooh, this is juicy. Or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical, and the other creates the spiritual. Wow, just in the first chapter, man, after reading this aloud with you guys, I've gotten a lot out of that. Because if a thought is a miracle, and I've heard that, thoughts are things and all that, but when he says, man, they can either represent the lower bodily level of experience or the higher spiritual level of experience. One makes a physical and the other creates a spiritual. Anybody that argues that A Course in Miracles doesn't teach what the Bible teaches, doesn't understand what the Bible teaches, do they? I mean, that's it right there. I've heard that in the Bible a lot of times. 666 and the beast and the lower nature of man and all that. I've heard that lots. I've heard that same story. So this, this is not different. Okay, let's see. We've gone 10 minutes. Well, we'll go another 10 minutes here yet. And we'll go see if we can't get down to verse 25. So, verse 13 on page 4 of A Course in Miracles. The Meaning of Miracles, chapter 1. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. I think what he's talking about is that they alter time. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. So how does that work? Right? How can something undo the past in the present and then release the future? Well, that there is the miracle, my friends. I can make a comment of how I see it, and if you're open to that, or whether you are or not, I'm going to make a comment so you can accept the comment or deny it. That's up to you how you want to hear what I have to say. But what I've understood from a lot of study about how the egoic mind works is, I had a very good, I'll tell you a story quick, right? Just happened this morning. My wife was talking to me about, we had our granddaughter over about a week or so ago. And evidently she had stood out by me, and I was doing something else. And the grandkids don't really come to see us that often. And she was standing by me, and I guess I was so into whatever else I was doing at the time that I either didn't notice her, or I basically, short story, I wasn't paying attention to her. Right, so she went in the back bedroom and pretty much stayed back there. Well, I heard about it this morning, right, 2-3 weeks later. And through studying this course and all that stuff, I understood what my wife was getting at, and how that story relates to this, because she was kind of getting on my case about not paying attention to my granddaughter last 3 weeks ago. So they really go back. Okay, so A Course in Miracles says they undo the past in the present and thus release the future. So the reason I'm relating the story is because my wife was referring to the past, right, trying to unconsciously, right, I'm sure she wasn't doing it on purpose, but this is what was going on, this is what we do, make me feel guilty about what I did in the past now, so that I wouldn't do it again in the future. Right? Don't you see what you did? Feel bad about it so you don't do it again. That's normally what we do to each other. And when I heard that this morning, I got caught up in it for a little bit, and then I kind of read A Course in Miracles, and I got to think about it. It's like, wow, she's actually teaching me, right, how this feeling of being separate and alone and afraid all the time kind of works, how this egoic mind works. But I'm getting way ahead of us, but that's ultimately how I had a miracle, because I was able to love myself enough not to buy into that and bring the past into my present. And now my future is released because I didn't carry the guilt. That's what this is really getting at. So let me read 13 again. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They alter time. They are always affirmations of rebirth. Right? You will be born anew. Which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. So what we can see from my story about what my wife was doing, and I'm not blaming her, right? I'm using her as a teaching tool for myself, right? And for you. And if she hears this, hopefully she hears that that's what I'm doing, is that I'm not blaming her for anything, right? That I'm using that to have a miracle and see how the reverse of what how she saw things is actually better than the way she see things, which is what this course sets about to do. So it shows me that the course works, right? Because she was teaching an old way of seeing things to carry the guilt from the past into the present so that it keeps perpetuating itself in the future, right? So that I always feel guilty about what I did. Always, right? That keeps that guilt going. I don't want that, because then I feel threatened all the time because I feel guilty. Who wants that? And that's how the whole world operates. So, no blame, no shame, right? Just the difference between what A Course in Miracles teaches to what we're normally used to having our mind operate. And I'm just pointing out the contrast of what it is that how we could live free of the guilt compared to how we do live with the guilt every day. So that's what A Course in Miracles is setting out to do. That's its goal. Miracles bear witness to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather, the uncreative use of the mind. Now, when they're talking about conviction, it's not like they're convicting anybody of anything. It's conviction here, from what I'm understanding, is that you have a conviction about something, that you're having a dedication, right? You're convicted, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to have a miracle. They are convincing because they arise from that conviction. I'm convicted I'm determined to have this for myself, right? And to share that miracle with the world. So 15, each day should be devoted to miracles. The purpose of time is to enable you to learn how to use time constructively. It is thus a teaching device and a means to an end. Time will cease when it is no longer useful in facilitating learning. So, again, my little story about, the interaction between my wife and my granddaughter, and our little discussion this morning. The past, the present, and the future. And if I devote each day to a miracle, then I will learn how to use time constructively instead of, as I said, carrying yesterday's guilt into my present moment and then making the future like the past, which this will. That's another quote from A Course in Miracles that gets a little ahead, but we'll get to that. So, what are we doing? Okay, quickly, let's get going here. Where did I leave off? Okay, 16. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as to receive. They simultaneously increase the strength of the giver and supply strength to the receiver. Which is why I'm doing this little podcast, because, if I share an idea, what this is talking to me about is if I share an idea, it strengthens it both in you and in myself. That's great. That's awesome. So I want to share this with as many people as I can. 17. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility and away from the bodily level. That is why they heal. So I think it kind of is restating what it said earlier about what thoughts are for, and some are bodily and some are spiritual. And it's already trying to turn our attention from the physical to the spiritual. So 18, a miracle is a service. It is the maximal service you can render to another. It is a way of loving your neighbor as yourself. You recognize your own mind and your neighbor's worth simultaneously. Okay, that's cool. 19. Miracles make minds one in God. They depend on they depend on cooperation because the sonship is the sum of all that God created. Miracles therefore reflect the laws of eternity and not of time. So 20. Miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit and not the body is the altar of truth. This is the recognition that leads to the healing power of the miracle. 21. Miracles are natural signs of forgiveness. Through miracles, you accept God's forgiveness by extending it to others. Okay, I had a friend of mine that showed up, so he wants to talk about all this. Kind of maybe would love to record it, but I don't think that would be fair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close for today. I will listen to this again so I can remember where we left off at. I believe it was at verse 20, I think. But I'll try to pick up where we left off. Hope you're enjoying this. I'm definitely learning a lot from it, going back through this again. Hearing my own words say these helps me strengthen that idea. Sharing it with you strengthens that idea in you. So, we're creating a miracle, man. And so leave a comment. There's a comment section here on this on each podcast. There's a little place you can leave a comment. Please visit my blog at spiritualdiscussions.com and keep in touch, man. Let me know, that I'm being helpful or not, how I can improve my recordings, and request a spiritual awakening workshop, which I would be happy to give. We could talk about the price. I try to make that as affordable as possible. It's an 8-week program. You can find information about that on my blog, which I've mentioned already several times. So, peace to you, man. And take care. Peace, love, joy. Bye.